There's so much change happening in the technology space, and one tool that I've seen that is continuing to grow and to develop over the years is ChatGPT. I mean, when we started using ChatGPT, we'll get different prompts, and you'll ask different questions, and the prompts that you'll get will be like, I can't use this because it's not helpful to me. But over the years, ChatGPT is getting interesting and interesting by the day. And today we are going to discuss on how or ways in which you can use ChatGPT as marketers. Hi, welcome to our channel. My name is Victoria, and today I'm also with my co-host,
Steve.
Welcome. Yeah, so let's now dive into our discussion. We are talking about ChatGPT. Even if you are not using ChatGPT, I think you must have heard this word. You know, this term is very common. There's a joke that was put some time back where someone is seated on a chair. He's using the machine, but now when you look at the seat behind, there is a paper written, ask ChatGPT first before before talking to me. Like that phrase, that term, that tool is so common right now. So as marketers, how do we ensure that we're able to utilize this tool very well? I know when it was launched, people were very reserved. They were saying, "Oh, we can't even use it. It's not even giving us the value." But I know with time we come to realize that we can't escape using this tool. So that's our discussion today. And even as we start, just for cases of those people who do not know what ChatGPT is, because again, we can't assume. And even if you've been using and you don't know what it is, then this is where we're going to begin. So ChatGPT is basically an AI tool that allows you to be able to get human prompts. By this I mean you are able to have a conversation with an AI or a robot using your phone or using your machine. So you just sit at the comfort of your home or wherever you are, and you type on that tool, ask questions, seek guidance, brainstorm, and then you're able to get responses. Now, the difference is you're not getting responses from a human being, but you're getting responses from a machine. It is very interactive. It is growing by the day, and even as we continue to grow and it continues to develop, the answers are continuing to become more refined and more accurate. And even before we discuss about how you can be able to efficiently use ChatGPT, I think maybe Steve, you can also help us know if we have any other AI platforms that you can utilize, or is it just ChatGPT we are talking about?
Yeah. Thank you for that intro. I think when you were speaking, I remembered that how baby boomers and millennials have associated Google with search. When you're saying
Mm,
I need to find something, you're told you Google it. So I
yeah,
suspect that Gen Zs and Gen Alpha will wonder what these guys were talking about when they were like Google it, because the way this AI scene is developing. I was even being shared yesterday by another friend of mine who is in the tech space, that the new model of ChatGPT allows a developer to code almost 80% of what they would do
yeah,
in a normal setting. Meaning, in the next year or so, it will be very hard, or the people who are doing learning how to code right now, it will be very hard and very competitive, or very hard to land a job as a coder in an entry level position, and as well as it will be very easy for anybody in whatever field of expertise they are in to also come and start learning that language and coding and whatnot. So just to sum it up, ChatGPT, like you've said, is an AI tool that allows you to answer any question you have in this world, whether it be technical or even personal questions. ChatGPT can have. I can say, for any person who has used ChatGPT for, or any other language model that is out there, and I think it's a good time to share that we talk about ChatGPT because it was the first large language model, and also it is the biggest language model. It is until recently it was the most downloaded app, and I say most downloaded app meaning it beat TikTok, it beat Google, it beat any social media, any online app that people download on their phones. So it is that big that it has that presence, and it is one of the most advanced platforms out there for giving AI solutions. However, where there is money, then money follows opportunity. So after ChatGPT came out, ChatGPT is owned by a company called OpenAI. After ChatGPT came out, then other companies saw there is a serious opportunity to make money from this platform, and we shall talk about why there is a lot of interest in this AI space. And Vicky, you can also talk about it later about the frustrations we as marketers have. And I think we shall, just tune in and we shall explain to you why these platforms are good, but they also have a drawback. But ChatGPT was the first AI platform. However, as time went, different companies came out. Recently, we did a video about DeepSeek and how it was, it cost almost a fraction of what OpenAI used to develop ChatGPT. So that's another large language model. We have, so to simplify it, think about ChatGPT as Google, as Google that is, I don't know how to say, 100 times better than Google. How you would search on Google is different from how we search on ChatGPT. You can search anything, you can search in any format, you can even search using a paragraph. It's very hard to search on ChatGPT on Google with a conversational. But hey, let's get back to the point. ChatGPT is one of the largest large language model. There are several competitors. You have had, if you have not heard, there is another competitor from China called DeepSeek. Apart from DeepSeek, there are other applications or other companies that have come up with their own large language models. And of course, if you are thinking, why is Google sleeping? Google also has their own large language model. It's called Gemini. Gemini is the ChatGPT version of Google. Then apart from Google, because every big tech company seems to always want to have their own platform, ChatGPT is heavily backed by Microsoft. Google is backing Gemini, and Google and Microsoft go way back in the competition. For those who don't know, before there was Google, there was Yahoo, and Yahoo was the biggest search engine before they were displaced by Google. In fact, Yahoo was given an opportunity to buy Google, and I think also to buy YouTube, and the management dropped that ball. However, there is another company called Facebook. That is like every marketer's best app or best platform. It's called Facebook or Meta these days. Meta also has its own large language model. It's called Llama. And then now there are other small companies that have come up with their own versions of large language models. We have this other company called Perplexity. Perplexity is just like ChatGPT. It is built on top of ChatGPT. So these are applications. So whatever you search on ChatGPT, on Perplexity, you can now do. Perplexity has a bias for research. If you are doing research and you want to get more resources with answers, you can use Perplexity. Then Perplexity also now has a competitor called Cloud by a company called Anthropic. So all these companies, if you are a user on the front end, you might think they are doing the same thing, but on the back end they're doing different things. Perplexity, because it's not a large language model, it can pull information from different sources. So Perplexity can link to ChatGPT, it can link to Llama, it can link to DeepSeek and whatnot. So it gives you a more richer. However, personally, from my experience, I use ChatGPT for most of my tasks, but I use Perplexity when I just want to compare or I'm doubting what ChatGPT is giving me. Because another drawback of these large language models is they are very confident even when they are wrong. So a large language model gives you information and you can take it as true. And if you're not careful, sometimes you might be misguiding yourself or your company. So I just look at it and see the opportunity that is in there in these large language models. But for purposes of this discussion, ChatGPT is the biggest, let's call it, search engine. It's called a generative search engine that allows you to ask any question and get answers instantaneously.
Yeah, so that's a very good, elaborate definition, and even just to identify the different alternatives to ChatGPT. So we are going to look at how, as marketers, and even if you're a small business and you tend to be the one doing the marketing, this is also beneficial to you. So let's look at ways in which you can be able to maximize this tool. We are going to just focus on three major areas. And the first one, of course, as a marketer, even before I say it, it's content. Anytime you're creating content, what is the best way? What is the fastest way? What is the most efficient way in which you can be able to create content? And if you are to integrate it with ChatGPT, how best can you be able to create it? I don't know, Steve, if you have, you can be able to start us off on this conversation. How can we be able to use ChatGPT to create content?
Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. And even if you're not a marketer, I'm sure you've experimented this, and probably what you see online on how people are showing how ChatGPT is very powerful. Simply put, if you are a social media manager, account manager for maybe 10 brands, or even just one brand, and sometimes probably you've been handling this brand for a year or so, and there are days where you get, a writer's block, if we can call it, where you are struggling to get something new in terms of engaging content. You're struggling to come up with topics that are more engaging. You feel like you are starting to repeat yourself. Now with ChatGPT, you can actually, I see people saying, give me a 10-day plan for social media for this brand, for this, maybe this company. And I think that is one way of doing it, but that's not an efficient way of doing it, because when you ask ChatGPT to just give you a 30-day content plan for maybe an app, ChatGPT will give you a very generic solution, and you'll find that after 5 or 6 posts, it starts repeating itself, sharing the features. Now, a smart way to go about it is to give the platform as much content or as much information as you can to help it give a better answer. That's what I was saying earlier, that ChatGPT is different from a Google search. First of all, you cannot ask, if you ask Google a paragraph question, you'll confuse that platform. It will give you a
Mm,
very confusing answer.
yeah,
This
yeah.
other one, it gives you a targeted answer based on what you ask. So say you are again, Vicky was posting a baby content for her baby Asha Kids, which is her business for baby kids. Assuming she wants to develop content for maybe baby diapers. Now she could go to ChatGPT and say, I run a Asha Kids store and I need to do content plan for 30 days. ChatGPT will give her 30-day content plan that is all over the place. It will tell her about her brand. It will start giving content about maybe baby products. It will start guiding her about different types of I guess clothes that she can share. However, if she says, I run a baby shop called Asha Kids, I want to do a content plan for 1 week, for 1 month. Each week should focus on different things. The first week focus on diaper, the second week focus on boy favorite baby color clothes, the fourth week focus on girl clothes, the fifth or fifth week maybe focus on just general brand awareness about my product. ChatGPT will give her a more personalized solution or a more personalized content plan for her. She can even say, I want you to generate 2 content plans per day. You see, the more specific you get with ChatGPT, the better it is. And from experience, the first try will almost always have issues. And what you do now, with, again, like I said, these platforms are being developed every day, and they get better. When ChatGPT first came out, when you ask the first question, following it up to refine was a very big problem. However, these days it has memory. Memory means you can even do that content plan on Monday, and then come back next week on Monday and feel, okay, now I want to change this content plan, and tell it, this content plan is a bit boring. I need you to add this. It will pick from the memory of what it did last week and then refine it better. And you can refine it as many times as you can. This is also another game changer, where you can refine the content more than multiple times just to get what you want. And again, something that would have taken you, if you are in the marketing space, content plans for me usually would take 2 to 3 days to just come up with a 1 month content plan, because you have to think through, I've done this content plan for this company for this long, and I need to come up with something fresh. With ChatGPT, with 30 minutes, you can have a first draft, and then process. Slowly by slowly, you can get started, and it allows you, even when you're not feeling like you want to do a content. Sometimes you feel like I just don't feel like posting something. You can even just ask ChatGPT, give me one post for this for my platform. And again, something that maybe I should also speak. You can even have ChatGPT give you content per platform. Say you are posting on LinkedIn, IG, and X. These different platforms have different languages, and they also have different character length. So like unless you're paid on X, then you have a different character length. So it allows you to also customize per platform. That would have taken you forever when you're trying to use your own means.
Yeah, so I think for this conversation, we can't just talk and fail to do a practical example. So maybe I should just share a screen and then we try this thing out. Huh? And remember, as I've mentioned, this is something that it's not that we have already preset questions that we're asking. So we're just going to try it out and then we see which answers it gives us. And we have mentioned it's a conversation that you have with ChatGPT for you to be able to get a refined solution. So if you want to first of all get access to ChatGPT, you can either download it or you can just go to any search engine like Google and you will search chatgpt.com and then you'll be able to see it. So this is how the interface appears. And of course, it gives you what it can be able to do. You can get advice, help me write, help me make a plan, brainstorm. You can either use this search to be able to get direct results from the web. The web means like the different websites that are there. Of course, this ChatGPT, I just forgot to mention that the information that where ChatGPT gets information is from the different the different websites, the different content creation that has been created on the online space, and then it's able to summarize from whatever it gets from the different social media, from the different websites on the search engines, and then it's able to summarize and come up with a conclusive or a good answer that will make you be able to make your decision or be able to use it for the betterment of your business. So we are going to assume that we are using an example of a restaurant and we're just going to try out different things. So as we have mentioned, content, you can use it for content planning, you can use it for content generation, you can use it to even create an image. So we assume that we have a restaurant that is selling different kind of foods, probably fast food, coffee, and the like. So the first thing maybe you would want to get is, let's say you're working on your social media, and maybe you want to get um, social media content, like you want to post something on social media. Maybe we'll say, I know there are people who start with hi ChatGPT, may just go direct. I don't know how to greet a machine. But anyway, so we can say, I run a restaurant. I would like Facebook. As we said, you can also be as specific as the social media,
Channel.
what platform. Yes, I would like a Facebook post on um, the products that I sell. Okay. I focus on chicken. Let's say delicious chicken and chips. Is it called chips or it's called
Chips, fries.
fries? Eh?
Mm.
Let's see. Um, you can also include, if you want it, as you said, as specific as possible. My target audience is who takes chips? Students. Eh? And the good thing with ChatGPT, even if you put a wrong spelling, it will
It
just be
works.
able to understand what you're
Mm.
saying. Yeah. My target audience is college students. So it gives you the content that you're going to get. It's going to target that kind of. audience that you're selling. And I would also want to use it on Instagram. Therefore, include relevant hashtags. So we search, and then it scrolls down, and then it gives you the post that you're going to use. So you can be able to, of course, for you to use it, you have to again refine it. You read through it to see if it's fitting you. Craving for something tasty. This one seems uh, to be making sense. Fuel your study session. You see, it is using the words that are relevant to the students or the college students that you're talking about. Fuel study sessions. Take a break with our crispy and grilled chicken, and then now, before, that's why we are saying you have to read, because now you're given options where you're supposed to edit. Like here, you're saying you give your restaurant name, you give open hours, and you give when to order, and then the different hashtags that you have mentioned. And then you can even go ahead and say, I was even include high quality. It gives you ideas of what you can include on your on your
Post.
on your video or your post. Yeah. So you can even say you can go to a different social media platform. What if I wanted uh, to use this same, to use this on TikTok? Give me uh, video ideas.
Or
So it goes ahead again, gives you the video ideas, day in life of a chicken and fries. So you're able to get which other ideas you can be able to create using the chat GPT. So you can take this, look at it and find, okay, this one means I can take a popular recipe for a tutorial or of how to make something, and then I give a quick demo. So even when you look at it in real life, like if you have to go to TikTok and you look at people who are selling food or they're dealing with food stuff, this is the kind of content they do. They give quick demos on
recipes.
how to prepare something. So it's relatable already to what is existing. So it's not that it's getting things from the blues. It has learned whatever is working on these social media platforms, and then it's able to use. And then it also gives you how you can be able to trend with dance with chicken and fries. It gives you all that ideas, and it understands, like, if you're talking about TikTok, you have to include hashtags. So it will give even the options to include the different hashtags. And also it gives you the different caption. Like, you can literally be able to create your content using ChatGPT. And to even make it better, you can also be able to create images on ChatGPT. For example, you can say, uh, create an image. Now you'll not be able to create the final image from here, but you can get something. Create an image. Create an image of someone taking coffee. Maybe you want to talk about
We should
coffee.
have stuck with the fries.
Pardon?
We should have stuck
You'll
with
have
the
started.
fries. I wanted to see how
Oh,
it
the
landed.
fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just do that one. Um.
No, it's telling you
Oh,
not
sorry. I was not logged in. I forgot to mention. For you to be able to use it, you need to at least log in. Logging in is free. We have two options of when you're using ChatGPT. You can either use a free version, or you can either use a free version, but you still have to be logged in, or you can use a paid version, which is $20 right now. The best way, of course, you have to log in. I think I was just showing an example, and I didn't think I needed to, but now let's log in. So uh, let's just do something. Agree. So once we log in, we can continue with what we were talking about. So we mentioned, so of course, it's because you're logged in, it's like you're starting from scratch, but we already know what we we had done. So we are just going to continue from where we were. So here we were trying to create an image
Yeah, I think that's a very
from the
good point,
conversation.
Vicky, because it for
Yeah.
if you want to maintain or to have that record of your your queries, you need to sign
Mm,
in, because if you don't sign in, that query will
yeah.
disappear when you close that tab.
Yes, 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 yes. Even if you refresh,
Mm.
if you refresh your browser, so you always have to ensure that at least your whatever you're getting also you're doing a backup of it. Okay, so we were saying how um I now we are just now going to assume that we have already created those, so we are continuing with other examples. So I need to create an image of someone taking coffee. So it will the person, it's a conversation, so we're just following the guidance. Should be a lady in an office setup. So then it goes ahead and generates. Now, you look at this image, maybe you don't like it, because one of the things that I will not like about this image is probably the person is not
Is white.
looking like me. Yeah, so I would say make the lady, let's say Black American. So it generates a different image. Now with this one, you can still go ahead and continue modifying. Maybe we'll say make the lady sit in a certain direction. So you can take this image, you download it from here. Once you download, you can take it to Canva. Now, when you take it to Canva, you add the captions on the image. You've already had a good post that you can create on your social media. I know when you were starting, when AI just came on board, people were like, you can be able to distinguish between or differentiate an AI image and a real image. So people will not want to buy. No, right now, people are adapting to it slowly by slowly. So even using an AI generated image still works. And as long as it suits your kind of audience, you still be able to deliver results. So Steve wanted us to test how fries will look like. Let's see how it will look like. Plate for me, uh, plate or people. Is it
Mhm.
people or do you
It
want
can
a
just be
plate?
a fries and chicken plate.
Fries and
Was
chicken.
it fries and chicken or fish we were selling?
We're talking about chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So
That is
it
so
looks so
good.
nice. It's so
That is so
delicious
good.
already. Yeah. So you can take these, and of course, again, when you're using such kind of content, especially if you're selling something that is seen, like for example, you're talking about a restaurant and you're selling food, don't give us this and then your real food is something else. So even as much as you're getting this content generated, unless you're using it just for branding, but if you're selling it to be able to capture people to buy your product, that is the fries and chicken, then it has to be almost the same as what we are seeing here. Don't just sell to us what we can't be able to see. Yeah. So
That's
there
true,
are many
Vicky.
ways.
However, I think you
Yeah.
can use such an image if you are, remember, you're doing content on different things. You can decide to do a content on the health benefits or how to create, how
Yeah.
to make fries and chicken. You can use such an image
True.
because you're not
Yeah.
necessarily saying that that is the fries and chicken you'll make. It's just something that brings people
Yeah.
to the page. I think also worth noting
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, sharing with people is
Yeah, I
from
think you're very right.
experience. From
Mm,
experience, uh, these AI tools are better at doing images of items than they are at doing people images. So you might also have that into consideration when you're
yeah.
running different products. If you can avoid having people, the better for you.
Yeah, so those are just a few items that we can be able to use for content. So it's more of a conversation. Think about it as a marketer. Think about what do I want to put on the social media platform? Which content do I want to place on the platform? Which guidance do I need If I was sitting with another marketer, which questions would I ask this marketer? Or if I was in a board meeting or in a room where we are creative people, creatives, which are the questions we'll be discussing? Those are the questions that we'll ask ChatGPT and we'll be able to get an answer. So that is just a brief of the content. You can be able to create a content plan. You can be able to create different kind of posts that you use on the different platforms. You can get ideas on how to create content. And of course, also you can also be able to use it on other areas. As marketers, we also are able to create emails. So you can also use it on emails. How how can I be able to get good subject lines? Anytime you create an image, especially an email if you're trying to market your product or you're trying to share emails to your existing contact list, you need a good subject line. So how am I able to generate a good subject line? If you are good at it, you can still be able to go to ChatGPT and try to see if you can improve whatever subject line that you have. How am I able to modify this email to fit my kind of audience? How am I able to make it a bit casual if I'm talking to people who are not very official in their kind of communication? So you can look at different ways in which you can also be able to use it on email. So email is mostly for copyright, for subject, and sometimes, it's if you want to sell, how do you make it an email readable without it being too salesy? So there are so many ways in which you can also be able to ensure that your emails appear professional, at the same time reaching your audience, to ensure that they read the emails, to increase the open rates and also increase the conversion rate if you're selling a product or service. I don't know, Steve, if you have any other area that you can use ChatGPT.
Yeah, I would say that in terms of the content creation, there's so much you can cover basically in any role that you're in. Maybe you are a podcaster and you want to get good engaging questions for your guest. You can also use ChatGPT. You are a YouTuber, you want to get topics to talk about in your area of expertise, you can use ChatGPT. You're an ad analyst, not ad analyst, you're a creative person and you're required to do ads. You can also use ChatGPT to create ad copy. Ad copy basically means what is put on the ad, whether on the image or on the post. So there are so many applications,
Yeah.
especially on the content generation space. Another thing that you might also find useful is, while ChatGPT is good for generating new content or new images and whatnot and topics, you could also use ChatGPT to refine your work. You can,
Yeah.
maybe you're doing a report, and of course this is subject to, there are several do's and don'ts in AI or in LLM. If that content that you're publishing is confidential, please do not put it on ChatGPT, because ChatGPT will use it for both for learning but also for sharing with other people. So if you are working on a new project or a secret confidential project, it is best not to. But assuming now you're working on you're in an organization and you're coming up with a marketing strategy, ChatGPT can help you get the lay down. Now, if you want to, you're a content creator or you're a business and you're doing a blog, you can write your blog, assuming you have the ideas and you don't want ChatGPT to make it to feel too artificial. You can have you can come up with your blog, or assuming for us, we do this podcast. This podcast can transcribe our conversation into a blog. Again, it's another tool that we shall share with you in future about how different blog platforms that you can use and how they can make your work easier on content creation. So like the platform you use, it can transcribe this podcast into again, using AI, into a blog. Now it will transcribe what we are saying, maybe word for word, with a little bit of editing on our end. But we might want to say we want to optimize this podcast, this blog, for SEO, for maybe for to rank higher on the search platform. You can take that content, paste it on Google, on ChatGPT, and it will help refine the wording, not necessarily the whole content, but keywords, so that it ensures that your blog or your article ranks better on the search engine optimization. So you can get creative in how you use ChatGPT for content creation, for your marketing, and for your for any need. In fact, even if you're not in the marketing space, you can even use ChatGPT for your research and for your own professional personal requests. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the topic is so exhaustive. There's having that idea as a marketer, you already know that if this is a tool that I can be able to have a conversation with it, like I can be able to ask, I can be able to get some decisions made through it, then you can go ahead and think in your kind of field. Are you a creative person? Are you a copywriter? Are you a graphic designer? Are you a web developer? You know, there are so many areas in which in the marketing field, and I'm sure now when you sit down in your specific field and the specific tasks that you do, you can be able to sit down, try using ChatGPT and see how you can generate the different content ideas. You know, um, I was so surprised the other time. I tried to create content, and then I was like, I mean, this ChatGPT has grown so much. Maybe I need to try to see if it can understand our language. You know, most of the time it understands English, and even when they do translation, it's mostly in these other languages. And I was trying to see if it can fit the Kiswahili language. And then I did a content and I asked him, can you convert this to Kiswahili? I was so surprised that it has some Kiswahili terms. I know it doesn't do when it does the whole translation, it's another understanding, like it has interpreted in a different way. But it gets the different language words that you can use to be able to drive in expression to the Gen Zs and the young generation. So it is the ideas are not exhaustive right now. You continue to use and you continue to learn on a daily basis. Otherwise, I think we can call it a day today.
Yeah, one more thing
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
maybe we didn't mention, or we might
Yeah.
want to also highlight in terms of other use cases. If you are if you are also trying to pitch a product for a customer in the marketing
Mm,
end, or even you are working on research for your company, you can also use ChatGPT, or now the other language models for
yeah.
using what we call in our space competitor analysis, market research, just to
Yeah.
before you pitch a product to a client, you can also be able to use ChatGPT to be able to come up with how what the market is about, how you as a marketer or as a business can be able to tap into that space and take advantage of the opportunities area. So not only on content creation, but also for you also to come up with marketing strategies, come up with the research reports for your potential clients and even for your business,
Mm,
assuming you are in
yeah.
the business of selling cars. You might want to use ChatGPT to do market research to know which cars are most sold in maybe a country like Kenya. Then that would also
Mhm.
help you import the cars that would likely sell and not stay in the yard. You can also do competitor analysis to know which are the faults maybe that are prevalent, or that the risks in your industry, and how people are coming out of it, and then you can find a way to position your brand or position your business um, as um, as someone different, or something different to make you stand out in the marketplace. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that is so true. Competitor analysis and just doing research, it's always very key, of course, before or even as you're doing your marketing. But again, if you are to utilize ChatGPT, that will really help you fast track your process and also help you get efficient results. Yeah, actually, it even just reminds me when we were starting marketing, this kind of information was so hidden. Like for you to get it, like you needed to know who knows who, you know. But right now, it's becoming access to information is becoming so easy. I don't know where we are headed. Anyway, that has been our conversation today, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.